Hello and welcome back to the channel for Formula 1 2021 season. We're back in Barcelona for the second round, the second sprint race of the season. Disappointing full feature race last time out. So we're looking to improve on that. We're going to be starting a bit back on the grid, which isn't going to help. But we're going to see what we can do from back in the grid. It's been a mixed start to the season. Bit disappointing in race 1. Winning the second sprint race, bit disappointing last race. So we'll see if we can keep that form of sprint races going. So we'll head down to the track. Be no change to our race strategy for this one, the sprint race. Hopefully no pit stops. I say hopefully because if you watch the other 3 episodes, you'll know there's every chance that I could spin and damage the car. So hopefully we'll get away with no pits today. So we head down onto the grid. The 5 red lights, starting in 16th, and we're off for the second sprint race of the season. We get a good start compared to Samara and Delatraz. We'll look to try and make some moves early on. We'll tuck in behind Delatraz, try and get some slipstream into turn 1. Try to decide what's the best way to go. It'll be down the inside for us. We brake late, pick up a couple of places, but Delatraz is back round the outside. So Samaya, we haven't actually gained a place through turn 1 there. So we have to sit behind and try and make the move later on. Samaya loses out to Delatraz. We go up the inside. We get Samaya just on the inside tire. Delatraz now will brake late and get on the inside and move up into 14th after the first corner. We'll take up the first set of corners. As we go up down the inside of Gios as well for a big dive, but he's able to get back round the outside. He doesn't have the traction, we do. We're up into 13th now. It's a great start for us, picking up 3 places early on. There'll be 4 more places until we can get into the points though, 5 more places. As we're not quite on the back of Lundgaard, we're going to take a bit of a challenge to get off the back of him. But it's the start we needed, the start we wanted. We didn't want to be waiting around to get places. So we'll take that for a start and hopefully be able to build on something from here. So we'll come into the back end of this first lap, trying to hold on to the back of Lundgaard. We're not going to make a move until turn 1 of the next lap. So we want to try and keep in DRS range if we can. It looks like that'll be possible. We have the pace nice and smooth through the chicane. We've a bit of time though. We're not the fastest through there. Jack Aitken is leading after the first lap. Not a great exit for the final bend. We're half a second behind Lundgaard, but we'll have enough pace to be able to keep within touching distance in turn 1 and hopefully try and make something in this second lap. We can round turn 1 again. We're losing even more time to Lundgaard. This isn't good. We need to pick up the pace a bit, but we know we're good in the rest of sector 1. As you see, we cut start from the hill and back down to half a second purple in sector 1, which kind of expecting after having a standing start, but we're right on the back of Lundgaard again now. It's a great sector 1 for us. We've recovered from losing all that time from the back end of the first lap. So hopefully we'll be able to try and make a move later on in this lap and keep moving up the pack. Got to be careful on the curbs there. That's why we spun in the feature race. Don't want to be doing that again now. We don't have the time to be dropping places and try and pick them back up. We have speed on Lundgaard coming out of the corner. We're going to look around the outside into the braking zone. Lundgaard swerving inside. We're very late on the braking. We overrun and have to give the position back to Lundgaard, so we can't keep on the corner. A little bit on the curb there. We've got to be careful again. It's a purple sector 2. We've got the pace. We should be able to make our way up the pack and go through this race. We keep on the back of Lundgaard. Not the greatest through the chicane there. So we're going to lose more time again in the final part of the lap. We have to try and make up. Hopefully we won't lose as much this time. DRS gets enabled as we start the 3rd lap of the race. That's going to be crucial, but we are going to be on the back end of a massive DRS train. So Lundgaard is going to have it whenever we have it. It's not really going to help as we go and overtake. We have a yellow flag. No, do we? It popped up and went again. I think we're fine. No, we're not. Somebody is out of the race, I think. Someone's dropping back. I can't tell who it is right now, but someone is pulling up at the turn 4, turn 5. It's Schumacher. Oh, our teammate Mick Schumacher is out of the race. It's not been a good weekend for the team, as Schumacher was leading the feature race. We'll see here what's happened to Schumacher. The engine's just gone around the top of the hill, and yeah, he wasn't in a great position anyway, as from that poor feature race. And he's broken off the front of Markelov's car as well. That's Markelov having to pit as his front wing is broken. And Schumacher retires, as I said. It started off well for us in the feature race. Schumacher in P1, us in P2. Then we spin out, put ourselves to the back of the grid. Then later on in the race, Schumacher spins as well to put him all the way back. And now Schumacher, a bit of oversteer there. As Schumacher now is out of the race, there's definitely no points for him in the sprint race. So it's all on us now to do it for Prema. If we can hopefully pick up some places and try and get some points from this race. Again, a good sector 1 from us, not a good sector 2. We've kept on the back of Lundgaard around the final bend this time though. So a lot better than the past couple of laps. And we'll try and see if we can get some slipstream on Lundgaard. But he also has DRS, so that's going to help us at all. There's going to be no way we can make a move here. We look slightly to the inside, see if we can get Lundgaard to make a mistake and try and put him under pressure. But nothing as of yet to be able to make our way through. We've just got to bide our time. But it's a sprint race, we don't have that much time. Again, we look to the inside, try and get in his mirrors, try and force Lundgaard into some sort of mistake as he feels the pressure from behind. Again, in the inside, we move to the outside just to get a bit of a look in. Lundgaard is not giving anything away, which is not what we need. We really need him to make a mistake or to crumble under some pressure. We need to start making our way in the pack. We gained 3 places early on in the first lap, but nothing since then. We can't spend too much longer staying behind. It's going to ruin our race and stop us from getting any points. Right on the back of Lundgaard, through the hairpin there. Can we try and keep some pace for the back end of this lap? See if we can make a move. A bit too much speed there to slow down to avoid running to the back of Lundgaard. We come into the final part of the lap again. We need to be nice and smooth, keep the pace. This is what's let us down previously. We lose pace into this back bend. With Matušić and Drugovic back to back just go and break the fastest lap. We're right on the back of Lundgaard this time, and we should be able to get a bit of a toe and make a move to turn 1. Lundgaard moves to the inside, we move to the outside. Can we be late on the brakes? Yes, we can. We've got to give him room on the inside. A little bit of a wheel bang. We touched through turn 1, but we've secured the place through turn 2, up into 12th. Hopefully we'll be able to defend from Lundgaard as we come up the hill. We usually quick through here, which should help as Lundgaard is falling behind a bit. Purple in sector 1 again. We're so good in sector 1. It's where we get all of our time. And we're right on the back of Armstrong. We might be able to hopefully make a move on him either in this lap or the end of the lap into lap 6. But not the best through this section. We're not confident through here after that crash in the feature race. We've got another yellow flag behind us. Who is it this time? It looks like it's one of the high-techs. And they're causing a bit of a pile-up in that section as well, in the middle of sector 2. We're waiting to find out who it is, as they're not out of the race. Oh, they've managed to save it. That's incredible. But again, it's not good for the high-techs. They've not been having luck this season, as was it Giotto, I think, was out in Bahrain and ran into his own teammate to make Mazepin pit and have to go to the back of the grid. It's a great lap from us. Purple in sector 1, green in the next 2 sectors. We move on to the back end of lap 6. We've managed to pull in this gap on Armstrong. Not as quick in sector 1, but sector 2 we've gone purple. We've managed to find some pace through the second sector now. And hopefully we can use this to carry on some pace into the last part of the lap and try and make some sort of move. But again, we're not fast enough through the final few corners. The Darugla now moves ahead in the fastest lap race to try and pick up the point, and we're nowhere near Armstrong to try and make a move to turn 1. We get into the braking zone, we're too far back and we're taking too much time to try and make our way through the pack. The points keep slipping away from us with every corner, but we don't gain time on Armstrong. We need to get a move done, especially because Mick is out of this race for the Drivers' Championship. This is huge, but we need to try and make some points to close that gap on our teammate. We run wide down the hill. That's not going to help us at all. We might even drift outside the second mark for DRS. We've managed to hold on to it for now, but again, we know we're not confident through that corner. Still managing to just hold on, and we just dip outside, I think, just before the the detection zone. We do, no DRS down straight through this time, but everyone else in front of us will. That's not helpful at all, but we're able to gain some time back into the hairpin. We really could have done with DRS there, just to gain some more time back. So we're going to struggle again now into the back end. We're not close enough, but unless we're able to find some pace that we don't usually have to be able to try and make a move down the home straight, we have to make a little correction before the final corner. Drogovic again goes fastest as he takes the fastest lap back at Rulova, but we go fastest. A great final sector from us puts us with the fastest lap. That came out of nowhere with 2 red sectors early on in the lap. The purple in the final one, not quite sure how I managed to do that. We've managed to close the gap on Armstrong. We need to try and keep this momentum going, keep a smooth drive. We go slightly wide up the hill. We look to the inside, try and get in Armstrong's mirrors like we were with Lundgaard. We go purple in sector 1. Can we beat our last lap and try and defend? We've got a yellow flag ahead of us as someone's off the track, and it's Matsushita. Matsushita has come off and he's dropped out of the points now. That's given us an extra place up into 11th. He's not out of the race, he's just spun, but he was going well, picking up fastest laps during the opening start of this race, and that's devastating for Matsushita there. We on the back of Armstrong, trying to make a move into the hairpin now. We look to the inside, a bit late on the braking, squeeze up the inside of him. We force our way through and we're up into 10th place. It's a great move from us as we head into the final sector of this lap, into the top 10. But it's a sprint race, so we need 2 more places to try and get some points. We need to be in 8th. Hopefully we'll be able to take this momentum and this speed into the final few laps of this race and try and pick up some points. We come around the final bend. It's a great lap so far from us, and it looks like we might, we beat our fastest lap again by 1/10 of a second. We need to keep this pace going. Can we do it? We're over a second behind Tictum though is the problem. We're out of DRS zones. We've got to find some speed from somewhere to claw that back in out of the DRS zones and hopefully not lose it when Tictum gets DRS. But we've got pace up the hill in sector 1 again. We love this first sector, even though it's red for us. We've managed to gain a lot of time on Tictum, down to half a second. So we're back into DRS range. Crucially, what we needed to try and keep in touch with him and hopefully make up some places to make points. But it's just a huge train around this circuit. It's only because Matsushita has spun, I think, that we're able to actually make that move. But it just caused a bit of hesitation in the drivers ahead of us, bunched them up a bit and forced them back into us. Now we're back in open racing. It's not going to be as easy unless we can find some pace from somewhere, and we do as we go purple in sector 2, right on the back of Tictum on the exit of the hairpin. Try and see if we can get a move down the home straight would be the place to do it. Into turn 1, there's no way we're finding our way through in sector 3 through the tight twisty section at the end. We need a good exit to try and make something happen. We've managed to get far enough away from Armstrong that he's out of DRS range. There's no challenge from the back. We're going to try and tuck it behind Tictum. We go fastest again, 3 laps in a row. We break our fastest lap as the fuel comes down in the car, making us nice and light and nimble to get the pace. Can't make a move into turn 1, but we're still nicely on the back. We know we have the pace up the hill, so that's going to be our next move. If we can try and get pace up the hill, try and get the move done, we get alongside the back tyre of Tictum. We're late on the braking up the inside, and we get the move done. We run slightly wide on the exit. Tictum's going to look to come back on the inside, but he can't make the move. We've closed him off. We're up into 9th after a purple first sector with a great move. And now we aim to try and catch a Lacey, see if we can scramble a point from this race and take the fastest lap point as well. We should hopefully be able to hold on to that from now, as we seem to be having good pace. The car's getting lighter the entire time. The tyres shouldn't be an issue either. With the hard tyres should easily be able to last 13 laps. We go green in sector 2 to keep up this pace and hopefully close onto the back of the Lacey. This last part of the race has been great for us. Very good opening lap, a bit dull in the middle section, but we're looking to light it up at the end now to try and see if we can take something from this race, close in on our teammate and get something for the team after Schumacher retires. It's not a great final sector again from us. We lose a bit of time, and we haven't done enough in the first part of the lap to break the fastest lap again. We're a bit slower there, and we lose some time on the Lacey. We can't make a move to turn 1. We're going to have to use our pace in sector 1 again to close the gap back down to try and get something to happen later on in the lap. We get great pace, get a good grip into this corner, into turn 3 up at the top. Try and tuck in behind Lacey a little bit in the mirrors, see if we can get him to make a mistake. Late braking, try and get us run outside, but we don't have the traction on the exit of the corner, so Lacey will get away from it again. We try and see if we can force something. We're trying a bit too hard now. We're losing a bit of rhythm because we know we're running out of time, being on lap 11 of 13. Then we've got to make a move soon. So we're going a bit too late into corners, and it's ruining our exit on the corners. Nicely to the right-hander there. We get some pace on the back of Lacey. We look on the inside, a bit late on the braking, very late on the brakes. We squeeze up the inside. We manage to get the move done on Lacey. We're up into 8. We're into the points. So we now trail Sato, and we'll try and see if we can steal any more points in the final 2 laps of this race. What a drive this has been, from 16th up into 8th in 11 laps, even with a dull section as well. I'm not quite sure how we've done it on the hard tyres. As we said in the feature race, are not a good race tyre. Around 20, so we go fastest again to try and keep that fastest lap point. Sonoda's only 6th ahead of us. That's good for us in the tyres as well, that he's not going to have too many points from this race. Sato locks up slightly to turn 1. That's going to help us. We have momentum through the first sector. We're going to look to try and make a move. We're right on the back of Sato. We try and look to the inside, outside. Sato moves to the inside of turn 4. We're going to go around the outside. We're late braking. Do we have the traction around the outside? No, we don't. Sato's back. We do a little switch on him. A little bang of the tyres on there as we come round the outside down the hill. Can we hold on to this position or gain the position, on Sato? No, he has the speed on the outside. We're going to look at this move again to see how much contact there was. We're tucked right in the back of Sato there. He moves to the inside. We're on the outside. He manages... We lose the traction on the outside, we don't have the grip, so we switch to the inside, which will be the outside, and he swerves across, a bit of bumping on the wheels, again on the corner. What a battle this is. We've lost a bit of time though as we come through the middle part of the lap. Have to back off, and we'll try and regroup and make a move later on. We're nicely into the hairpin, cutting down that time, getting onto the back of Sato. Try and make a move late on into this race if we can. Try and pick up some extra points, but a little bit of contact with Sato hasn't helped us. It's just forced us to back off a bit. Oh, we're very late into that corner. I think we've got a bit of the curb to slide a bit, and that's probably ruined our chances of getting 7th place in this race. We've not been the best for the final sector through this race. We've done it again. We're sliding out. We're over a second off of Sato now. We won't have DRS down the straight. Lacey's on the back of us now. We've let him get back in and tipped him right on the back of Lacey as well. We've bunched up the pack behind us without being able to close on Sato. I think this last lap is going to be more of a parade lap than anything. We've got the pace in Sector 1 again, but it's not going to be enough because we don't have the pace in Sector 2 and Sector 3 to be able to make anything happen. We did have the pace to be a Sector 3 move, and the track just isn't wide enough with the final corners, and we don't have enough of a run into the line to try and make something happen. It looks like it's going to be 8th from us. It's not terrible for where we started, but obviously if we're going to be in with a chance of the title, we're going to have to start picking up some podium, picking up some more points. We go perfect in Sector 2 in an attempt to try and get something on Sato before we finish this race. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. We lose it a bit through there, not quick at all. Maybe the time's starting to go slightly, but not too much is going to affect anything. We're right on the back of Sato, over the curve, no momentum around the final bend. We've got the gap, and Jack Aiken, who wins the sprint race, will come home in 8th to pick up a few points with the fastest lap. Oh, what a drive that was. We picked up plenty of places, which will take early driver of the day as well for that race. Not being biased, but I think I deserve that. Most overtakes from anyone, I should think, in that race. But yeah, a little disappointing. As I said, we need to start picking up some podiums, some more points consistently if we're going to actually mount a challenge for the title. We've been incredibly lucky that our teammate Schumacher has been making mistakes in the past couple of races to give us a bit of a chance to stay in the mixer. as he's failed to score points in the last two, which is Aiken up on the podium.
And there are a lot of people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Campos on the top.
And Campos will take their first win of the season. And we'll have to see what that has done to the championship. See how much of a chance we're going to have. If who's taken the new top spot, because surely Schumacher's dropped now as well. We'll have to take a look at that before we head to the famous Monaco in the next episode. Aiken first, Druvler second, Drugovic third. We'll quickly take a look at the standings as Drugovic heads to the top. Sonoda on second, Ticktum in third, then Sato, Schumacher and us. As we're 23 points at the top, we're going to have to start taking some more points from races. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in the next race in Monaco. So if you want to see that, make sure to like and subscribe so you're here for the next race. We'll look at, we've dropped in the constructors, MP Motorsport go top, then Carling, then Prema.